An uphill climb when it comes to starting a business. This is according to new data from the Kauffman Foundation. Women started just 37% of new U.S. businesses last year. That's the second lowest level in nearly 2 decades. I'm joined now by someone who knows all about the challenges of starting her own business, fashion designer Lela Rose. Thank you so much for joining us today. Does that never surprise you that there's fewer women out there starting businesses?
I would say that really when I read the studies, it is surprising, but then there are some real differences, I think, for women when they are starting businesses, and there are some true obstacles to it.
Like what? Because it's not just that it's low, it's that it's dropped. I mean, that's what we're looking at, rather than, continuing to be a higher and higher percent,
exactly,
which you would expect.
And the fact that it is dropped, I would say, is more concerning. But I do think that, women, there are gender norms that are absolutely affect women starting businesses. I also think that access to capital. Well, I think gender norms, regardless of how much we've moved forward, I think that women are thought of as being the primary caretaker for children.
So you think people take you less seriously when you go in to pitch a business and you look for financing?
I think for sure. I mean, I think studies have really said that private equity and VC firms are largely run by men, and that men often wonder if women have what it takes to, start a business.
Or are going to stay committed through the long term.
And what if they have a child, or what if something happens with their child? And that's where I think it gets back to kind of the gender norms and, what really is what is expected of women, and what we also put pressure on ourselves about.
Yeah, to try and do everything. You say it's harder to get financing. I look around and I see, banks having programs specifically for women and minorities. And you see like the Small Business Association trying to promote this. That's not working?
I don't know that that's not working. I think that there might be promotion in trying to do that, but I don't think that there's necessarily when you're growing up and when you're being raised as a girl, I think, we've all read, I'm assuming we've all read Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, where she's talking about girls are being accused of being pushy and being too forward when they're kind of fighting to be the first one up the ladder. And boys, it's just a boy thing.
I feel like that's so outdated, though. I mean, because I didn't experience that. I mean, I was certainly driven and pushed to do as much as I could and never felt like there was a limit to that. So I'm just still surprised. I guess maybe it's still sitting more in the startup world.
I was never taught that anything was different. But funny enough, when I did start my business, or I started my business already, but I was pregnant with my first child, I had several people ask me, "Oh, so are you going to quit your business? Oh, well, you're at least going to go part-time." And I kind of said, well, I don't think that there is part-time.
When you have a giant successful company.
When your name is on the door. Well, we were a much different company even back then, but I mean, I was fully committed to doing this business, to making it work no matter what happened, and I was going to figure out how to be a mother and be a good wife and run my own business at the same time. But I don't think men ever get a question like that.
So what made the difference for you, and what advice would you give to younger women out there? Because the biggest decline has been in young women doing startups, which is also really surprising. So as somebody who's been so successful, what would you say to them?
I first and foremost think that, okay, there is this whole expectation of women having it all, but I am a person who runs a business. I have a primarily female staff. I love what I do. I've got 2 kids. I've got a husband. I'm pretty darn happy, and I think that you can make it all happen. I think that with hard work, dedication, and commitment to actually making it work is really what makes you successful. I mean, people have always said, what are the things that you would tell someone? I'm like, well, if you don't have persistence, get some and figure out how to not take no as an answer. Because I can't tell you how many times that, even still today in my business, we'll hear, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to be successful.
And you have to persevere. And also you have something that you're so passionate about. I'm sure that keeps you going through all of these challenges. Love what you're doing. All right. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time.
Of course, thank you.